Picture yourself in sujood, your forehead touching the ground. At that precise moment, you are closest to Allah, your Creator. This moment is far more than a physical act. It is a spiritual connection, a silent conversation with the Almighty. Prostrate and draw near to Allah. Surah Al-Alaq, 96:19. Prostration or sujood is a profound act, one that transcends the physical movement of bowing down to touch the very depths of the soul. In that moment, the heart humbles itself before the Creator, laying down the burdens of the world and aligning with divine serenity. As this verse reminds us, it is the state in which the soul is closest to Allah. But how often do we truly take the time to reflect on this closeness? Have you ever felt the embrace of inner peace, the kind that silences every worry and fills your heart with light while you are in sujood? For centuries, this sacred posture has been a refuge for those weighed down by life's trials. It is a position of vulnerability, yet it is also the most powerful stance a believer can take. Why? Because in that moment the ego dissolves, and what remains is pure faith, a connection so direct, so intimate, that it can transform despair into hope, chaos into clarity, and scarcity into abundance. Let me share the story of a man who discovered this transformative power in his darkest hour. There was once a man crushed under the overwhelming weight of debt. He was a father, a husband, and a provider, but his financial struggles left him feeling helpless and ashamed. Every morning he would rise to face another day of creditors knocking on his door, neighbors whispering, and an ever-growing sense of failure consuming him. His despair was a shadow that followed him everywhere, growing heavier with each passing day. One evening, as he sat alone in his room, tears streaming down his face, he felt drawn to his prayer mat. It was a place he had visited many times before, but that night was different. There was no ritual in his heart, only raw emotion. He entered sujood, his forehead pressed to the ground, and cried out to his Lord. Ya Fattah, Ya Razzaq, Ya Karim. These words poured from his lips like a river breaking through a dam. O opener, O provider, O generous one. Over and over he repeated them, his voice trembling with desperation. And something remarkable began to happen. As he remained in sujood, the heavy knot in his chest started to unravel. His tears, initially filled with anguish, began to carry a strange sense of relief. He didn't know how, but he felt certain that his prayers had been heard. The days that followed were nothing short of miraculous. Opportunities that had long eluded him began to appear. A friend he hadn't seen in years called to offer him a job perfectly suited to his skills. His creditors, once relentless, suddenly showed mercy, granting him more time to repay his debts. Even his family noticed a change in him, a lightness, a hopefulness that had been absent for so long. What had changed? From the outside, it might have seemed like luck or coincidence, but he knew it was something else. It was his faith, his unwavering trust in Allah's power to open doors that no one else could. The words he had uttered in sujood, Ya Fattah, Ya Razzaq, Ya Karim, became his lifeline. Each name of Allah carried a promise. Ya Fattah, the opener who removes barriers and grants ease. Ya Razzaq, the provider who sustains and nourishes all creation. Ya Karim, the generous one, whose blessings are limitless. By invoking these names, he aligned his heart with the attributes of Allah, believing that relief would come, even if he couldn't see how. And what about you? Could this act of sujood and these words change your life too? Think about the challenges you face, whether they are financial struggles, emotional pain, or spiritual confusion. What if instead of carrying these burdens alone, you brought them to your prayer mat? What if in the stillness of the night you pressed your forehead to the ground and called upon Allah with the same sincerity, the same vulnerability? Have you ever considered that your breakthrough might be just one sujood away? Imagine the possibilities. Imagine the weight lifting off your shoulders as you surrender your worries to the one who controls all things. Imagine the peace that would flood your heart, not because your problems have disappeared, but because you've entrusted the solution to the Creator. This is not just a story of a man who overcame his struggles. It is an invitation for you to experience the same transformation. The beauty of sujood lies in the fact that it requires nothing but your heart and your faith. You don't need wealth, status, or eloquent words. All you need is the courage to bow down and the willingness to believe that Allah's mercy is greater than any challenge you face. So tonight, find a quiet corner, lay down your prayer mat, and when you enter sujood, let your heart speak. Say, Ya Fattah, Ya Razzaq, Ya Karim. Say it with conviction, say it with hope, and then leave the rest in His hands. Because sometimes the greatest miracles happen when we are at our lowest, when we are closest to the ground and closest to Allah. Prostration or sujood is more than just a physical act. It is a harmonious blend of spiritual devotion and physiological benefit. In this profound gesture of submission, modern science and spiritual insights converge to reveal its transformative power on the human body, mind, and soul. In the realm of science, sujood has been studied for its remarkable effects on the body and mind. One of the most immediate benefits is the relief of stress. During sujood, the body assumes a posture that calms the nervous system, much like yoga or other meditative practices. The forehead, when pressed against the ground, stimulates pressure points that are known to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest response of the body. This response reduces cortisol levels, the stress hormone, bringing a sense of tranquility and balance to the mind. Moreover, sujood enhances blood circulation to the brain. In this position, the heart is elevated above the head, allowing gravity to assist in delivering oxygen-rich blood to the brain. This improves cognitive function, memory, and overall mental clarity. It is no coincidence that many find themselves in a state of heightened focus and serenity after prayer. Could this scientific explanation be a subtle affirmation of the wisdom embedded in this act of worship? Another fascinating benefit lies in the physical alignment of the body during sujood. This posture stretches the spine, releases tension in the neck and back, and promotes better posture. Even the simple act of repetitive bowing and prostrating can improve flexibility and joint health over time. But the true essence of sujood transcends these physical benefits. It is in this position of complete humility that the heart draws closest to Allah. The act of lowering one's body to the ground symbolizes surrender, an acknowledgement of one's dependence on the Creator. The Quran beautifully emphasizes this in the verse, "Those who humble themselves in prayer will succeed." Surah Al-Mu'minun 23, 1-2. Humility is a central theme in the act of sujood. When we place our foreheads on the ground, we are reminded of our origins. We were created from dust, and to dust we shall return. This realization fosters a sense of gratitude, grounding us in the understanding that every blessing we have is a gift from Allah. Have you ever felt the profound sense of liberation that comes with this acknowledgement? The freedom from pride, ego, and material attachments. Through sujood, a believer engages in a direct and unfiltered connection with Allah. Unlike other postures of prayer, it is in this moment that the worshipper is closest to their Creator. The heart speaks its truest desires, and the soul finds solace in divine proximity. The intimate nature of sujood allows the believer to shed all pretenses, laying bare their struggles, fears, and hopes before the one who understands them best. The verse from Surah Al-Mu'minun ties humility in prayer to success. But what kind of success does it refer to? It is not merely material wealth or worldly accomplishments. It is the success of attaining inner peace, spiritual growth, and ultimate salvation. When the heart is humbled in prayer, it becomes receptive to divine guidance. This alignment with Allah's will often manifests as a sense of clarity and purpose, empowering the believer to navigate life's challenges with resilience and faith. One story illustrates this beautifully. A young woman struggling with anxiety and self-doubt began incorporating longer periods of sujood into her daily prayers. She would pour out her heart, asking Allah for strength and guidance. Over time, she noticed a shift within herself. Her worries, though still present, no longer consumed her. She felt a newfound sense of peace and confidence, as if her burdens had been lifted. Her friends and family, too, saw the change and marveled at the calm radiance she exuded. What does sujood mean to you? As we explore these dimensions of sujood, a question arises. How often do we truly immerse ourselves in this act of worship, both physically and spiritually? Do we approach sujood as a fleeting gesture, or do we allow ourselves to linger in its embrace, savoring the closeness to Allah and the tranquility it brings? Have you ever paused to consider the transformative possibilities of fully embracing Sujood? Close your eyes for a moment and imagine yourself in the depth of this sacred act. Stress melts away like morning dew under the sun, and your mind, once a storm of thoughts, quiets into serene clarity. Your heart beats in harmony with divine peace, as though aligned with the rhythm of the universe itself. Now envision the strength you could draw from such a state. Strength not just for the body, but for the soul. What is holding you back from experiencing this today? What keeps you from fully surrendering in Sujood, knowing that your Creator is waiting to lift your burdens? Could it be doubt, distraction, or simply the rush of daily life? These barriers are real, but they are also conquerable. The beauty of Sujood lies in its simplicity and its promise, to bring us closer to Allah, to realign us with our purpose, and to pour divine blessings into our lives. It is in Sujood that the heart finds its most sincere voice. Here, every whisper and every utterance carries immense weight. Specific words and phrases, when spoken in this state, hold the power to unlock blessings and alter the course of one's destiny. The secret lies in the names of Allah. The Quran emphasizes this in Surah Al-Araf, and to Allah belong the best names, so invoke Him by them. Surah Al-Araf 7:180. Each name of Allah carries a unique facet of His infinite mercy, power, and wisdom. To call upon these names in Sujood is to draw upon these divine attributes, inviting them into our lives. For example, consider the names Ya Fattah, O Opener, Ya Razzaq, O Provider, and Ya Karim, O Generous One. Repeating these names in Sujood is not just an act of devotion, it is a declaration of trust in Allah's ability to open doors, provide sustenance, and bestow generosity beyond measure. Take the story of Ahmed, a man whose life was weighed down by financial struggles and despair. Every night in his Sujood, he would repeat, Ya Fattah, Ya Razzaq, Ya Karim. His voice trembled with sincerity, his heart heavy with need. Weeks turned into months, but Ahmed's faith did not waver. Slowly the tides began to turn. Unexpected opportunities arose, and help came from the most unlikely sources. Ahmed's situation improved, not just materially but spiritually. He felt an unshakable peace and a newfound resilience. This story is not unique. It is a testament to the power of Sujood and the invocation of Allah's names. How often do we underestimate the potential of such simple, heartfelt acts? Invoking Allah's names in Sujood is an act of recognition and submission. It is a moment where we acknowledge His attributes and place our trust in His divine plan. To call upon Al-Hakim, the All-Wise, in times of confusion, is to seek guidance that transcends human understanding. To invoke Al-Ghafur, the constant forgiver, after a misstep is to embrace His boundless mercy. These names are not just words, they are keys to deeper faith and understanding. They serve as reminders of Allah's presence in every aspect of our lives. Imagine repeating Ya Salam, O source of peace, in Sujood, allowing its meaning to seep into your heart, calming your worries and fears. Yet the question remains, what keeps us from fully surrendering in Sujood? Is it pride, the unwillingness to let go of control? Is it doubt in the efficacy of prayer? Or is it simply the distractions of a fast-paced world that pulls us away from moments of stillness and reflection? The answer lies within us. The barriers we face are often self-imposed, and the remedy is as simple as a decision to trust, to submit, and to connect. As you reflect on this, consider this challenge. In your next prayer, linger a little longer in Sujood. Call upon Allah by His names, choosing those that resonate most with your current state. Pour out your heart, holding nothing back, and then wait. Wait for the subtle changes in your heart, the quiet reassurance that you are heard, and the signs of His response in your life. What might happen if you embrace this challenge today? How could your life transform if you fully immersed yourself in the power of Sujood and the invocation of Allah's names? The answer lies not in words, but in experience. Take the first step, and let the act of Sujood and these sacred names guide you to a life of peace, purpose, and divine connection. A mother struggling to provide for her children repeatedly invoked Ya Fattah in Sujood. Her circumstances changed dramatically when unexpected opportunities arose. What blessings might you be missing by not invoking Allah in your deepest moments of vulnerability? Provide clear, actionable steps for incorporating this practice into daily life. Perform sujood during voluntary prayers or in personal dua. Repeat, Ya Fattah, Ya Razzaq, Ya Karim 3 times, focusing your heart and mind. Make your intentions clear, trusting that Allah will answer. Call upon me, I will respond to you. Surah Ghafir 40:60. Encourage viewers to commit to this practice for at least 7 days and reflect on the changes they experience. Conclude with a heartfelt narrative emphasizing patience and reliance on Allah's timing. Tell the story of Prophet Ayub, Job, peace be upon him, who endured immense hardship yet remained steadfast in faith. Despite his prolonged suffering, Allah eventually restored his health, wealth, and family. And mention Job when he called to his Lord, "Indeed, adversity has touched me, and you are the most merciful of the merciful." Surah Al-Anbiya 21:83. Are you ready to trust Allah's wisdom and timing in your own life?